beautiful soul. This is Rochelle with the Healing Rose, and today I'm doing a hopefully quick flip through the Starcode's Astro Oracle by Heather Roan Robbins. The artwork is by Lucas Lua de Souza. This is a 56 card deck and guidebook produced by Hay House. It came out, I think, 2 years ago. I have been using it a fair bit. And this is one of the ones that I'm going to be using this month. So then I realized I'd never done a flip through of it, and I wanted to because it is one of my focus decks coming up in this next month. It has quite a solid guidebook. So the deck, 56 cards, we covered the signs, the 12 signs of the zodiac, the 3 qualities, solar activity, luminaries, the planets, asteroids, lunar nodes, locations. So we have cardinal points and houses, and then patterns, supportive aspects, challenging aspects, changing states. So there is a lot gone over in this guidebook. There's a lot covered in the deck itself. So each card has a description about whichever aspect, in this case, the south node, talks about the action, talks about the challenge, and the gift that comes with it. All right, so let's get into the cards. Let's move the box out of the way. Okay. All right, so this is a fairly large deck. It is the standard Hay House size. The backs are absolutely gorgeous. I am so in love with the beautiful geometry that has gone into the backs of these cards. I have thought about trimming it down to make it smaller because I do like to do that with several. I've done that with several of my larger Oracle size decks. Let's take us in just a little bit. So we're a little bit closer in and we can really appreciate all the layers that has gone into this really, really lovely Oracle. Okay. So we have Aries, and I love that it's this really beautiful line work, and we also have this beautiful sort of watercolor aspect that highlights part of it. So we have our symbol, we have an image that relates to that, we have all kinds of little planetary symbols and symbolism worked into the line work, which is just absolutely gorgeous. So we have like the water element, we have the symbol for Cancer, we have this lovely beautiful planetary moon kind of phase that's going on there, right? Because Cancer is also a moon child. Leo, so we have that fire aspect, we have this beautiful background. The colors are so vibrant and at the same time so subtle. And I find that the meanings in the guidebook when I've used this in readings work really well. And I just have not spent a lot of time with this deck. So it is one that I want to spend more time studying with this month. Absolutely. I am so in love with the artwork in this. And I'm so in love with the backs of the deck. And it's just, I think for myself, I haven't had the time to sit and really learn the deck. Just because, you know, when I got it, I was working on a very hectic schedule, and there just never seemed to be the time for it. I was going through a period where I was just very kind of exhausted all the time. So now that I'm in this more, you know, receptive kind of studious state, as it were, I'm getting really, really focused, really intentional with what is, you know, with how I'm studying and how I'm using my decks, and really trying to look at my collection to see, not that I don't love every deck in my collection. I mean, actually, there's a couple that I'm not 100% in love with. But I want to give every single deck in my collection an opportunity for me to really learn it and work with it and see how it works with me. and then decide if I want it to go to a new home or not. So absolutely love this Venus. Like the planets are just absolutely striking in this deck, the way these planet cards have been done. I love this. Kind of almost gives you a sense of like a, what do they call that? Gyrosphere. It's just an absolutely, totally stunning, the way this is put together. It's very striking. It's very strong. Like, this is so soft, but at the same time, just the style of artwork is very bold. I absolutely love the way this deck has worked. And when I've used it and I've sat and I've gone through the book, it gives a really fabulous reading. So for me, I think it's just a matter of like really learning the nuances of the deck. I mean, I have studied astrology. I'm not an astrologer. I've studied moonology and became certified as a moonologer. So there's a lot of aspects in here that I immediately am like, oh, okay, this is like this, that's like that. But then some of them, you know, just because my astrology background is not as strong as I would love it to be, you know, it was something I studied a lot when I was younger. And then as my interest and focus shifted, it's not something that I've worked with a lot in the last, you know, maybe decade or so. So some of it is not, you know, it's just not as solid in there as it used to be. So I would love to just get to spend more time actually studying with this deck because it's really, really beautiful. And I know it gives really fabulous readings because I've used it for readings for myself. So it's just one of those ones where I just have to spend the time sitting and studying with it and learning it, because it's just absolutely like so gorgeous. I love this for the 4th house, for that whole aspect of home and what it represents. Like, that window is just absolutely beautiful. This is brilliant for the 5th house. Absolutely. I love that kind of creative, you know, the passionate artistic expression. And for a card that is passion, yet it's so soft. I mean, it is such a bold deck, and the colors are so striking when we see them. And some of the cards have such softness to them, and some of them are so intense. Like, this one is so colorful compared to some of the other ones, just in the fact that we have that color throughout the outside of the card as opposed to focused through the center. So, you know, I'm really excited about actually spending more time with this deck, even though it's, you know, I've had it for a little while and it's just been in the collection and it's been used a few times. I did take a moment to sit and put it in order because I do love an orderly flip through myself. And I find that when you know, when a card comes up and I look and I, you know, when you read about it and you read about what's going on, the symbolism indeed is there that tells it, you know, that gives you those little hints and clues. And it's just kind of like, you know, understanding how that relates to something that's going on. I love this transits. And then progressions, which is really, just a really beautiful, really beautiful artwork. Really lovely, lovely deck. All right, let's focus out just a smidge. There we go. So it is a Hay House deck, and it does have, isn't that interesting? This was like that when I got it. And once I have them shuffled together, you don't see this. So it has always had this bow in it, and it just has not been used a lot. So it's one of those things that I think, I've had a few decks come like that, right? So yeah, so once we shuffle it and they sit together, you don't really necessarily see. There's a little bit of a difference there, but you know, once you actually start working with a deck, and you've shuffled it a fair amount, and the cards have been manipulated, and they've been, you know, they've bent forward, they've bent backwards, they've bent side to side. They actually all start to even out, and they lose whatever bit of chaos is happening when you first get the deck. So I'll give it a nice solid shuffle. And so this is a kind of our typical Hay House. It does have a finish to it. It is, I mean, not quite matte. It's almost like a semi-gloss kind of finish, but I like it because it's very smooth, so it shuffles really easy. It's not super slippery like a new Llewellyn cardstock is, but it does glide really nice. So it's not like that textural kind of like rose petal velvety finish that certain decks have come out with. But the finish on it is like really nice and clean. Okay, let's just read this card so we get a sense of what's going on in the book. And I love that things are numbered, so that's really fabulous. So if you're somebody that also does numerology when you do readings, and you're doing a reading like this and you're focusing on a lot of the astrological aspects, you can also go in and you know, read on the numbers. And okay, Capricorn, achieve. Capricorn asks us to dive deep into the sea of collective consciousness to find a worthy dream and then work on it and walk it to the mountaintops. Capricorn, the cardinal earth sign, is ruled by Saturn. Its symbol is a mare goat, half sea creature, half mountain goat, and the sign is connected to our bones and knees, the equipment we use to climb stairs and achieve our goals. The action. This situation needs a good and healthy structure foundation upon which you can build solidly. Capricorn imbues ambition and drive, determination, willpower, and precision, and when used with integrity, these qualities culminate in the gift of leadership. The Murgut reminds us to dive into spirit, into the dream world, get the vision for the good of all sentient beings, then do the work needed to manifest it. Find motivation, set a goal, and build with integrity. Mountain goats climb easily up and down, but aren't as comfortable on flat terrain. Capricorn energy can leave you depressed when you feel flat and see no progress. If you can't fish, mend the nets. Look for what can be done now and make it a project. Make short-term plans that take you to medium-term goals and help you climb your mountain over time and celebrate each step. Capricorn encourages you to practice skills and develop spiritual disciplines. Learn to control yourself, not others. Lead rather than dictate. Look for guidance from elders or experts and grow your personal authority. Develop confidence through your portfolio. Observe and savor not what you think you can or can't do, but what you've actually done. The challenge. Keep an eye on the power dynamics. Without integrity, Capricorn ambition can enable gross manipulation. Control a tendency to become controlling or manipulative when feeling anxious. Do not fall in love with others' competence. Let it inspire your own. And the gift. Wisdom grown over time and through mature experience is the gift of Capricorn, as is connection to the spiritual traditions and disciplines that offer a sound foundation for our evolution. So it gives you a lot of really interesting information so that when we pull out 2 or 3 cards together, you know, you can start to see how you can weave the stories together as you work with it. In any case, it is an absolutely gorgeous deck that I think anyone would enjoy having in their collection. And if you're a fan of astrology like this, the geometry of these cards combined with that sort of really beautiful floral fluid art style is just absolutely fabulous combo of styles in this deck. So if you're still here, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, I would love if you would hit the like button. If you feel called to subscribe, if you aren't already, absolutely, I would welcome that. And just a quick note that I never ask if you want a reading. I will never message to say, hey, go here and I'll do a reading for you, or send me this and I'll do a reading. If you want to book with me, all my bookings are done now through my website. They're not done through anywhere else. So if you find me on Facebook and you're on my Facebook page, there is a book now button that takes you to my website. The same with my Instagram. Anywhere you go, it's always going to be through the website. And they're all prepaid bookings. So, you know, it's done in a way where it's a secure transaction. So if you receive a message from someone, because it has happened to a couple of people, you know, someone trying to pretend to be me just to like get people to send them money for readings that they're never going to do. That's absolutely not me. And so there's your little public service announcement. You know, if you're still here, thanks so much for watching. Hope you have an amazing week. Take care.